Bro, I love Kingdom Hearts. I love how ridiculous it gets, I love how it retcons itself into absolute oblivion. I've played through these games more times than I can be bothered to count, so I'd like to think I'm pretty good at them. With Kingdom Hearts finally coming to Steam, what better way to celebrate than by taking away one of the cornerstones of the combat system and seeing if I can beat the game. Can I beat Kingdom Hearts without using magic? You see that blue bar around the health bar? At no point is that allowed to be used in combat. There are portions of the game where magic is required to be used, so I'm allowing the use of magic purely for the purpose of story progression. Any Keyblade is allowed to be used, and I can chop and change equipment and abilities as I see fit. I can synthesize anything I want, and finally, the game has to be beaten on Proud Mode. The run ends after Ansem has been defeated. I'm probably going to do this run on KH2 as well. If you want to see that sooner rather than later, then I want to see 15 likes on this video. Here we go. Since we don't get magic before meeting with Donald and Goofy, it's like any other Proud run for now. I pick the sword as I want to be as offensive as possible, and choose the midnight start point for a slower experience gain to make it a little bit harder. I beat the tutorial and spent the 2 days on Destiny Islands gathering resources for the raft. I also did grind against Tidus till I hit level 9 and learned Scan, sped through the rest of the island, beat Darkseid again and arrived in Traverse Town. I did save prior to the Leon fight to ensure an elixir before leaving, and totally beat him on the first try. Guard Armor was a piece of cake and we finally joined up with Donald and Goofy, learning our first spell, Fire. The run officially begins, and I immediately break the no magic rule by casting fire on the door. Oh well, run over. This is needed for later, so allow me. I did run about Traverse Town for a little bit though, grabbing what treasure chests I could reach, and as many blue trinities as I could remember the location of. But it's at this point where we hit a little snag. We can't unequip Donald's magic. I don't know if allowing Donald to keep his abilities, especially something like Cure, kind of breaks the rules. I did say I'm not allowed to use magic, and said nothing about my team members. I don't know, this feels kind of wrong. So the only way I feel I can balance this is when there's an option for another teammate to be present in the party, we sub out Donald to keep it as fair as possible. My plan now is to start with Wonderland, beat Deep Jungle to get the awful ass platforming out the way, then loop back to Traverse Town via Olympus Coliseum. I wasn't too fussed about the evidence for the Queen of Hearts, but I got Blizzard, which is useless, and managed to pick the right box to allow Donald and Goofy to stick in the party and take some of the heat off me while destroying the tower. The Trickmaster can be tricky, no pun intended, to deal with at times if you don't pay attention, but keep your wits about you and you'll be fine. I did die first because I got a bit too reckless, but second time was a dub. I don't normally use fire on this fight anyway, so I'm just used to wailing on the guy till either I get tagged or he goes down. So this fight was a cinch, and we closed the keyhole to Wonderland. Deep Jungle is a bit of a difficulty spike with the native Heartless, Sabor, and the final fight with Clayton and the Stealth Sneak. Sabor was a breeze, but proceeding through the world to get to Clayton was harder than Clayton himself. These mob fights laid me the fuck out, and it was when I got to the end that I remembered how Clayton was a brick wall for me as a kid. You can't really tell when he'll shoot you, so you need to knock him off quick and take down the Sneak before you get sniped by its eye lasers. After dying a few times, I remembered what potions were and what dodge roll was, so after that, the Sneak itself isn't all that challenging. We managed to eke out a win just before I got taken out. Going from here, I might need to be a bit more careful. Maybe I should have picked the shield. I want guard. Looping back to Traverse Town takes us to Olympus Coliseum. Cloud's a bit of a danger as he hits like a truck and he's fast. I don't know if doing Deep Jungle first buffed me up or if I'm just that good, but Cloud was actually pretty easy. When going through the rounds though, Donald and Goofy burned through all of the healing items I gave them, so I only had one high potion when facing Cerberus. Thankfully, I only needed one for the top up before getting it on the first try. Finishing up gives me Sonic Blade, but this is another ability I can't use as it requires magic. Now back to Traverse Town. We ring the bell to unlock the keyhole, find a wooden sex doll in the Kingdom Hearts version of Ann Summers, and fight the opposite armor. Basically the guard armor, but worse, and it doesn't attack as often. Traverse Town done, and I smashed out the Fill Cup before heading to Agrabah. Just to disclose, the Fill Cup was rough. That was only a couple of the losses.
He got cooked!
Agrabah is up next, and it actually went easier than I thought it would. Mob Heartless go down in one combo with the exception of the Fat Bandits, but that's to be expected. We rescue the carpet, then rescue Aladdin before taking on the Pot Centipede. I did need to pop a potion in the second room, but aside from that, it was nothing too hard to deal with. The Cave of Wonders entrance also went down with ease. I found my way through the Cave of Wonders, which I'm actually proud of because I always get lost in here. Jafar was probably the most problematic boss I had, not because I lost to him or anything. It's just because I've never been able to lock down his movements or manipulate them, so this fight is always a drag for me. I'll have to look at some speedrun tactics someday. I did need a few potions and I got tagged right at the start of the fight because I wasn't paying attention while switching YouTube videos I was watching while recording. He did go down and there isn't much point mentioning Genie Jafar. It was the easiest fight in this world. We unlocked green trinities, meaning we can now synthesize, and I got a good Keyblade upgrade with 3 wishes. Just like Genie Jafar, I don't think there's any point in mentioning Monstro. Checking my recording time, I wasn't even here for 10 minutes. Parasite Cage 1 was a cinch, but I did need a couple of potions because I didn't time my attacks well. Parasite Cage 2, to be fair, nearly got me. I did have to use all my potions because Donald and Goofy got taken out early, but I managed to get the win while it was sucking up the acid to poison me, which I think probably would have resulted in a loss. After Monstro, I got notified that the Pegasus Cup was open, and much like the Phil Cup, I couldn't get a first time win. The rounds were mainly fine, but I couldn't get Yuffie and Leon. Donald and Goofy's defenses are so lacking, and they go down so quickly, so I ran out of potions and basically got one shot by Leon. I did run this through a few times before giving up and decided to come back at a higher level and with a better Keyblade. I did try out the Wishing Star Keyblade for the first time ever though. It may not reach far, but it has okay strength for this part of the game, and all combos ending in a critical hit is actually a huge dub. It sucks that I nearly got it on the first try, but there's still the Hercules Cup to try that later with. I really wish there was a Sora attack function like in Kingdom Hearts 2. I'll be making good use of that if I ever do that challenge. 15 likes. Atlantica is where we hit the first true brick wall. Even the shark at the sunken ship is a fight that laid me out. The AI in these games hates healing you. I swear, he just stopped taking damage and the Wishing Star Keyblade ability didn't activate. But Bruce from Finding Nemo isn't the true challenge here. It's Ursula 1 that's the challenge. Let me explain how this fight normally works. Wait for the cauldron to glow, cast any offensive magic on it and it will backfire onto Ursula, allowing you to attack. I've never beaten this fight without casting magic, and she seems to stop taking damage after a while. I know she has the equivalent of super armor, but she just straight up stops taking damage. To double check this, I actually started a new save on beginner, got to Ursula, and the same thing happened. She stopped taking damage on the last hit of her health bar. I had to cast magic at the cauldron. I checked online, and I couldn't find an answer saying that you could beat her without the use of magic. I mean, I guess it makes sense, because just before coming here, you get the prompt to go and see Merlin, who'll give you the Spellbinder Keyblade. So it kind of incentivizes you to use spells more heavily in this world, but for this challenge it sucks. Luckily, Atlantica isn't required to actually beat this game, but it's a shame that I couldn't complete every world. If this fight is able to be done without the use of magic, I implore you, please let me know down in the comments, but from what I've seen, it can't be done. I might come back before facing Ansem to try again, just to triple check. Halloween Town, on the other hand, was much simpler. There's no required magic to beat the world, the Heartless are easy to deal with, Lock, Shock and Barrel aren't really a boss fight, Oogie is the easiest boss, and the final stage of just destroying him as a house is the easiest final challenge of the run so far. I wish there was more to tell you about Halloween Town. Like, it was a really quick visit. Nothing to report. I mean, I got a new Keyblade. I did spend a little time bouncing around to synth for a bit and used my new gear to absolutely trounce Leon and Yuffie for the Pegasus Cup. Neverland in this game was so poorly titled because it's literally just Hook's ship. I always get lost in here and lose track of which door is which, so finding my way to the Shadow Sora fight took longer than I'd like to admit. The camera in this world is an arse too, so I just kept going in circles. The Heartless here do give a decent amount of XP though, so I'll take that. Shadow Sora was probably the easiest fight yet. The gear I crafted plus Peter Pan is a great combination because he deals a lot of damage very quickly. Hook, on the other hand, can be dangerous if you aren't careful because, like Pan, he can deal big damage with quick attacks. I did need to pop a few potions that he had a Heartless ship helping him and taking cheap shots, but thankfully I'd recently got second chance, so that helped with this going smoothly. After that, there's nothing to do except to lock the keyhole to Neverland. I personally hate the layout of this world. I feel there was little to no imagination put into this place. It feels like an afterthought by the devs, to be honest. Thankfully, I did get through this in a relatively quick time, and I actually think I spent less time here than I did in Monstro. We can now move on to the endgame. Before going back to Traverse Town to have Sid fit the gummy piece to the ship, I popped back to the Colosseum to do the Hercules Cup. This cup was the easiest by far, and we did get it on the first try. We're rewarded with one of my favourite KH1 Keyblades and the Yellow Trinity to close the keyhole in Olympus Coliseum. This cup was so easy, I went back and cleared it on solo and on the time challenges to get even more awesome abilities and items, so I like to think I'm sitting pretty for Hollow Bastion right now. So let's get to it then. Riku owns the beast and steals the Keyblade, Donald becomes a beta cuck, Goofy turns from a sheep to a dog, and we team up with the furry to unlock the front of an old lady's house. Sora then gives a speech about how he don't need no girl or whatever. I don't know, the dialogue in these games are really kinda hit or miss, and prepubescent Haley Joel Osment can really get on my nerves. Sora gets the Keyblade back and we need to fight Riku after he quickly dips into Hot Topic. This fight was actually quite close. I didn't have any healing items equipped for the start, and I was only one hit away from being taken down, but we got the job done, so it's time to fight our way up the castle to Maleficent 1. She isn't all that much, as staying on her platform is really easy to do while we take her down without any kind of issue. It's Dragon Maleficent that I think I'll have a problem with. She has a massive health bar, many arena-wide attacks including Green Fire, which does damage over time. This might be the fight I need to properly grind for, but let's just see what happens. Yep, okay, let's go grind for a bit then.
A few inches later.
There we go, finally. Now it's time for Dark Riku. And it's here where we find out that Sora's been getting pegged for the whole game.
Kairi's inside me?
Now, this fight has a reputation for being one of the hardest in the game. Some would probably say the hardest. So I'm just going to let this play out in full.
Now witness true power. Open your heart to darkness. It's over.
Take that!
My skills fail me.
We beat Riku, Sora commits Sudoku, then blacks up, Donald commits police brutality, and Kairi saves the day through the power of Deus Ex Machina. Now Heartless are flooding into all the remaining worlds.
We're in the endgame now.
There's nothing else to do now but the final gauntlet. We speak to Kairi to get Oathkeeper, which is able to deal a string of critical attacks, so I may use this, but it does primarily focus on summoning power. We'll see when we hit the end of the world. I then get Divine Rose, which puts an end to the consideration of Oathkeeper. I'm still going to grab Oblivion and work my way through the Hades Cup, just to see what I get from all of that before making a final Keyblade decision. So we fight up through the castle, open the Oblivion chest, and fight the Behemoth to close the keyhole. This fight is one of the easier endgame bosses, as staying on his back is really easy to do. Hit the horn until he goes down, just keep an eye on any projectiles and heal if needed. Okay, keyhole closed up, so time to finish up. We get the prompt that the Hades Cup is good to go, so I'll spend a little time working through that. Luckily, you can kinda cheese this cup as you get checkpoints every 10 rounds. So I can just use those checkpoints and get the win a hell of a lot easier. Even so, this took me quite a while because again, Donald and Goofy's AI sucks copious amounts of cock. Just walking into attacks, refusing to heal me, dying so bloody quickly. Look, okay, I really love this game, but God, I hate this game. We finally got the final cup, and that's that. I did try the Ice Titan off camera, but I was really tired, couldn't get my timings right, so I gave up after like an hour. Forgot to go back before fighting Ansem. Sorry. I worked my way through the end of the world, deal with all the world arenas. I know if you lock the keyholes you don't have to, but fuck it. Fight Chernobog and come to the final door. This is my last chance to do anything else before facing Ansem, so I took this opportunity to go back to Atlanta to triple check that Ursula cannot be beaten without magic. It didn't work, but on a real, fuck this bitch. I also spent a fair amount of time synth grinding because I thought it would be cool to get KH1's ultimate weapon for the first time, But I had a look at the items I'd need and decided if I wanted this video to actually get out on time, then I wouldn't have time for the Ultima. That'll be left for a future video. Maybe a platinum trophy. Get this video to 25 likes if you want to see that soon. Right, let's claw Ansem upside the head. First fight on the beach and the final Darkseid fight aren't a concern for me, it's the solo Ansem fight. I can't really strategize until I know how much damage I'm doing. The first fight is hard to tell as Donald and Goofy are wailing on him as well. It didn't go amazingly well. I took more damage than I would have liked in the Darkseid fight, so I needed to pop an elixir pretty much straight away. I did get very lucky with Ansem's placement though, as he just backed himself into a corner, but I got way too reckless at the end and kept getting caught by the Guardian, opening myself up to multiple attacks. I had to burn through nearly all my Mega Elixirs to finish that fight, and it was only when Ansem turned into a boat that I realised I never checked how many healing items Dipshit and Gobshite wasted on each other. I'm in for a rough ride. I actually died for the first time in this fight. In all my years, I've never lost to this bastard. And now I'm stuck in a loop. I hit continue and I can't restock my items. If I want to try this again without as many items being used in previous fights, I need to reload my save from the door. I only have 2 Mega Elixirs left, and the help drops from these bat things that Ansem spawns don't heal me up for much. Plus the pickup range is fucking dreadful. I do have second chance though, so if I can stay above 1 HP, I can't be one shot. I guess I just need to try and get better at aiming for the health pickups, but the glide swimming controls for this game are complete arse. There's nothing else on the boat that drops HP orbs. Ansem's first hit takes away half my health, the lasers are bullshit, and Divine Rose has such terrible range that I can't attack him from behind safely. This is a load of crap. After about 10 attempts, I got a run where I do have to use both my remaining elixirs, but I got a lot of good parries. I'm sent into a room with a load of shadows so I can pick up some much needed health. After blasting out and taking some small laser tongues, one of which drops a much needed mega potion, I can go back in to grab Goofy, who thankfully still has a few potions. The ship Penis Head is easily dealt with, Goofy dealing some serious damage and keeping me alive. Now I'm able to go back inside again and grab Donald. This is now looking very close to being possible right now. After we fly out of the mouth with style, I'm able to get 2 more mega potions from these laser shooter things. We take out the core and now we're free to bring this bitch down. All 3 together, many healing items now between us, all to ensure victory. Bringing the run to a close and proving you can beat Kingdom Hearts 1 without using magic. There were parts of this run which were super easy and parts that were insanely difficult. Taking away magic for use in battle means you need to be really careful in fights, as all your long range options are taken away. And in a game with not so great combat as this, where options are already limited to begin with, it did make it much more of a challenge. I actually had a lot of fun going back through this game though. It's been a while since I've played KH1, all the way from the start to the finish, as I normally choose to either replay 2 or Birth by Sleep. So it was a great jaunt down nostalgia lane. I'm curious if the inverse of this challenge is possible. I'll be honest, I don't think it is, even on something like beginner, but I might give it a go someday. The next few videos to round out the year won't leave me much time to try and squeeze out another Kingdom Hearts challenge, but I'm sure if you guys want to see either the KH2 No Magic run, or even the KH1 Platinum, you'll hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. I could maybe be persuaded to change some things around to accommodate what you guys want, but regardless, that's for another time. I've been TSM, love to you all, and may your hearts be your guiding keys.